Well, joining me now for Tech Talk is Nigel Fair from UNSW here in this studio with me. Thanks very much for your time.
G'day, Tom.
Might start with something a bit different. That Facebook is being urged not to go ahead with end-to-end encryption. The warning here is from people worried it might mean that it's harder to track people when they're grooming, for example, through the messaging system. What's your take on that?
Well, I'm a believer that more encryption is a good thing than less, and I think we need to look at the whole is greater than the parts in this regard. So more people will benefit from having end-to-end encryption on their messaging app than less, of course.
Can it be who benefits though? I mean, if we see child sex abuse out of it, but privacy is better for everyone else, then it's a bit of a trickier thing to weigh up on numbers.
It's a really tricky thing, and of course we want to safeguard young people online. That's a given. But of course, you know, if you look at the terms and conditions, young people under 13 shouldn't be on Facebook anyway. That's the first thing. And law enforcement need to look at other avenues of inquiry, and we need to give other tools and techniques to young people to safeguard themselves against abuse online.
All right, now Toll Group, there was an attack that stopped its operations, and of course Twitter lit up in anger. What's happened here?
Well, you know, Toll is a massive company owned by a big Japanese conglomerate, and a lot of us get our parcels when we buy things online, and we all buy things online. And you know, too many times in the economy we think, oh, it's just banking and financial services, which are the ones hit by ransomware and other cyber attacks. But this was an attack against an organisation with a ransomware demand at the end of it.
Well, do we know how much they asked for? Because this is a big company.
It's a massive company and affects a lot of people.
Also the sort of company, if you stop it for 24 hours, everyone's saying, I was meant to get this parcel, this was supposed to arrive.
Well, we all live in the here and now, so when we think a parcel will turn up at midday today, we expect it to turn up. But it's a huge attack, and one that we really should be taking focus on. They haven't revealed what the ransomware demand was, but they also said they didn't pay it, which is a smart move.
What are some of the big amounts that have been asked for? What's the biggest, do you know the biggest one paid, in fact?
No, I don't know the biggest paid. There's been reports of ones out of the hospital and the health sector being paid into the hundreds of thousands of dollars.
That'd be, is that government or private we're talking
private.
About? Right, yeah.
And you know, you've got to look at this rationally. Of course, we should, in any instance, we would say you never pay a ransom under any circumstance. But when a lot of these ransoms are quite small in value, and a lot of criminals know how to price their product, they're very commercial and rational in their thinking. And you think to yourself, well, if it's about half a Bitcoin, you know, $5,000-$6,000, I'm going to burn 10 times that in IT security consultancy. I'll just pay it and hope I get my data back. Even
though that can be short-termism. Presumably governments, there's no government agency in Australia that would be able to just pay a ransom. That'd be a set policy.
I would hope it's a very set policy, yes.
This one was quite interesting. So there's a new tool now to help people sort out doctored images. A huge thing now, posted all the time. Talk us through how this works.
So this is an open only for journalists, and it's being trialled by some big Wall Street journals et al. To see how it works. And we're well attuned to fake news, and deep fakes, which is the altering of photos, takes that to the next level, and it's so believable that the average person will not understand it. So when you think about how we consume so much media online, if you can subvert someone and get them to get your line of thinking by a deep fake, it really is very powerful. And it's really hard for journalists because you report on stories, you pick up information from around the web. How are you meant to have the time to do that fact checking? Not to mention, because they've got programs here where they even have people talking, you can fake people talking, but that goes to the next level. When you're talking about those pictures, what you see a lot is misinformation spread by social media users, for example. It might be a fake picture, but often as well it's just a fake context. There were even pictures going around purporting to be from the bushfire crisis of people in the water that turned out to be from years ago. And you know, you just talked about the 2020 Trump election campaign. We're going to see a lot of this sort of thing coming out to try and win the hearts and minds. So we want the general population to question things, but not question everything. And that's a fine line. It's great to be watching, consuming your news, how it is, and put your own filter over it and think. But we don't want every image that comes up in front of us to your you want them to have confidence. And so it's given access to journalists. So if you're reading a major news site, you know the pictures that they've been able to source an accurate picture.
it doesn't necessarily mean that someone else can't spread it around on Facebook posts or Twitter or whatever it might be.
Correct.
Yeah.
But we, again, you said that right, we need to have the confidence. We need to trust our news sources. So I think this is a good development, and let's see how it develops.
There's also a call within the UK of regulation around algorithms. I mean, this is an interesting one because what would the regulation be? A lot of people say, well, you know, it's just better targeted marketing, whatever you might call it. What would they like to change here?
Well, I think this is more aspirational than anything else because, as I'm fond of saying, we can't legislate or regulate our way out of online problems. You know, we really need to work on our norms and how we act and behave online. But because it goes back to the theme we're talking about, it's we consume so much of our news and our current affairs, etc., online, which is a good thing. We want to encourage people online. And there's a group out of the UK, and the UK do solid public policy thinking on the whole, that sort of say, how do we put around, particularly social media, what they feed us? And we need to remember on social media, we are the product.
Yeah.
It's not free.
It almost feels like one of the less sort of damaging areas. We all know if you start Googling a holiday to the New South Wales South Coast, suddenly popping up in your bar on the side is, do you want to stay at Bateman's Bay? And
relevant advertising.
It doesn't feel that,
No,
damaging.
I think it comes down to informed consent. Most people can understand that filter and think, okay, I get it. But there is a price to pay, and you will get served with micro-targeted advertising. And I just can't see how we can regulate it. Aspirational, it's lovely.
Yeah,
but
a bit unrealistic.
But a bit unrealistic.
It's interesting if let's say you go to buy some camping equipment and you purchase it, you still get ads that they don't know the difference between you seeing it and buying it, because if you've just bought a tent, the last thing you're going to do is click on an ad to buy a tent, but they still pop up.
Yeah, we've still got some way to go with the machine learning and the AI that goes around it. But I suppose the next iteration is you post pictures on social media of yourself camping, your friends, your family, you geolocate where you are. You start following camping-related pages. Then they're going to get a pretty good idea that you're into that scene.
Fair enough. Nigel Fair, always appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.